Hey guys, Desolator Magic here, and many Magic the Gathering players have asked the question, what the hell happened to Commander 2018? Because everybody's pissed. Now I thought, the people who really care about price, which surprisingly is not usually the end customer, like to the extent that I care about price, I thought they would be like, oh, this is bad, there's not a lot of value in it. And everybody else would be like, cool new commanders, oh boy, new cards, yay, new color combinations. That's usually the response to Commander. It's notoriously a very popular, well-received product. So what went wrong? Well, what's not well-received? Price increases. But people were like, okay, when Wizards gave their explanation, they said basically it's going from like 35 to 40 bucks a deck. So, each deck's going up 5 and the full case of all 4 is going up 20 bucks. So, Wizards said, this is so that we can put more value in the deck. We constantly feel like we can't put too much value in the deck because if we put 100 bucks worth of singles in there and then sell it for 35, everyone's going to buy it, split it up, sell the cards. The cards are going to tank in value, so anybody owning the cards will be pissed. The newer cards that aren't reprints but that are hyper powerful and hyper popular will just get outrageously expensive and sell out everywhere. And nobody who wants the decks will be able to find them because they'll just sell out in every store until Wizards prints more. So it actually is like a bad thing to put 100 bucks worth of singles in a $35 product. So they said, well, we're making it a $40 product and we're going to put more value in it. And I mean, okay, you could have just left it alone. This is what doesn't make sense. I mean, if they're like, let's say it was a $20 product and they moved it to $50. And they said, yeah, but we're putting, we'll put 70 bucks worth of singles in there instead of 30. That's wonderful. It would still be $50. It's still more than double the price and it's less affordable for, everyone. So that's wonderful that you're putting more value in it, but maybe people wanted to buy it just as a product to play with it. They didn't want to pay 2.5 times as much. So that is much more drastic than this. I mean, $5 is $5. It's not that much money, but like 40 is, you know what I mean? Like you can't just say, oh, I'll pick that up on a whim, like a Planeswalker deck where it's like, oh, I got 11 bucks in my pocket, which still not a terrifically insignificant amount of money. But 40, like that's a whole product right there. But then again, fat packs are 40, so you could get like 3 entire Commander decks for the price of 1 box at most places. It's still not crazy, but the real problem, the real reason that people are so mad, it just comes down to Wizards said they would put more value in it, and they did not. I mean, it's not like they just crammed fetch lands and soul rings into all the decks, okay? It's just not possible to calculate the total EV of the decks because there are like, I think 59 brand new, never before seen cards. They all look hyper powerful and it's just simply impossible to assign a value to them until you know how many people really want them and what the market really looks like for it. So I'm not going to even give an EV because whatever number I give would be inaccurate. It's just somebody's best guess basically. But what I can tell you is that, from the 4 deck lists, there's just a distinct lack of like 10, 15 plus dollar cards. I mean, they're just not there. None of the staples are there. It's just a bad deck list that screams no value. Now, maybe a ton of value is in the new cards because a lot of the cards that have never been printed before look so good. I want tons of them for my own Commander decks. So people might be underestimating the actual EV of them. Maybe they are all worth 50 plus across the board. I mean, you never know, but still, that's not that much above 40. There are Commander, I want to say 2016 decks, I think, that are worth over 100 still, so yikes. Oh, Commander Anthology, geez, the day before they announced that, it was about $500 to $600 worth of singles total. And the day of release, it was closer to like 300. But guess what? It didn't cost 300. So you were getting a hell of a deal. You're getting just like 2 to 1 across the board if you bought it. So if that's the bar you're trying to reach, yeah, I could see why people would be pissed that, basically at the end of the day, the price went up and the quality didn't. The value didn't. In everybody's opinion, whether that's correct or not, that is the perception right now. We'll see if that ends up being true or not, but it really does look like it. I will say those deck lists look really unimpressive. So here's the thing, okay, people are saying, oh, dump it, don't order it, cancel your order, stores are canceling their orders, distributors are pissed, and everybody's, declining secondary shipments, and just everything's collapsing already just based on the reputation, the rumors, if you will. Will the absolutely abysmal sales actually materialize? That is the question. Well, I'm going to give 2 answers. The first answer is maybe, and the second answer is it depends specifically what you mean and how you want to measure it. Okay, go find any individual Commander deck that has been printed ever that's below $40 right now on eBay. There might be one or two, but that's out of what, like, I don't even know, 40 or something? Like, there's a lot. So no matter how bad, how poorly received, how high the print run was, nothing about any Commander set in the past, basically none of the decks are worth less than what you paid for them. So if you hold them long enough, and in some cases that's, 6 months, a year, they're going to be high. People are going to want them, and that's because there's cards you can only get there. It's a very limited print run set. You can only get them one time, and Commander unique cards are not really that prevalent in Master sets yet. I have a feeling the very next Master set is going to be Commanders, like literally the Commanders, the front cards from like every Commander set ever. Well, obviously not all of them all at once. I mean some of them, Like, Atraxa has to show up in a Master set at some point. She just has to. I mean, they go where the money is for reprints, and there is a distinct lack of supply. I mean, people are all, tripping over, like Scapeshift or whatever, or Crucible. They're printed, like, once or twice in a very small print run set, and that's it. And that's why they're so expensive. They're powerful, they're unique, and there's almost none to go around. Well, look at Commander. I mean, those print numbers, I don't know how they stack up against standard, a standard release, let alone a standard release from 10 years ago, but I would think it's less. So I think, the whole I'm going to hold them forever thing. I mean, first of all, we've already had Commander Anthology, which, wasn't this the second one, I think, even? I don't even remember. I mean, just no matter what they're going to call it or when they're going to do it, let me just make this really simple. If it's expensive, there's not a lot to go around and people want it, Wizards is going to reprint it in something. That is really all there is to it. So would I hold these for 5 or 10 years and expect to make a fortune? Hell no. In the next 5 or 10 years, some things are going to get reprinted if they go up to enough value. That's just how things work now. Wizards is reprinting everything. It helps people out. It's like, instead of just let's maintain value for the investments or investors and the players, they've switched to let's make it so people can actually just afford to play the game, or we just lose customers. Not to imply they're not losing customers for other reasons. So would I hold these for a whole bunch of time? No, but within 6 months to a year, maybe a year and a half, will these go up? Because remember, right now, it's basically dead on arrival, it's worth nothing, and last I checked, the eBay pre-orders are like 120, 130 something. That is below MSRP already, and those are pre-orders. I mean, people have given up on this set. I wouldn't say they're fire sailing it. There's still like a $30 margin in that, but it's not great. But that's just the thing. Will that make it even worse? Because Wizards did a second print run of Commander 2017. As far as I heard, I mean, all the evidence points to they went to the printing companies, said, make more that you wouldn't have made otherwise, and then shipped it out again because the prices on those decks were insane and they didn't make enough. I mean, the customer demand was a lot higher than they thought, so they made more. And I don't have a problem with that. I mean, it's not doing it would piss off people, price them out of the game. There's no way to get what you want, and, well, quite simply, Wizards would be leaving money on the table. So everybody's saying, oh, they're so greedy, what about maintaining value? No. That's like their number 2 priority at best at this point. They want to make money, make sales when people want your product, duh, and let people play the damn game if they want to. If they can't buy a Commander product because the only place to get it is, $90 on eBay, they're just going to go do something else that's cheaper. They'll just buy GTA 5 on Steam and play that instead. I mean, that like is an option. So Wizards makes more money and the customers get happier, except for the ones that are like, value, value, value. Yeah, you're an investor wannabe, shut up. You spent money, not invested money, okay? So yeah, those customers are loud and obnoxious because they're MTG Finance wannabes, but don't listen to them. The rest of the customers just want a $40 deck for $40 so they can play Commander. I mean, it's not that difficult to grasp this concept. So if all the stores, all the sellers, all the online sellers, all the douchebags on eBay, if they're all jumping off this one and trying to lower their order, trying to snake their way out, canceling secondary orders, whatever, Wizards is going to print even less than they normally would have. So then if people recover from it, they want the cards go up, there's not enough to go around, demand was underestimated, people change their mind about it, somebody finds a really good combo with one of the commanders, just anything that makes the demand and the prices go up a little bit, all of a sudden everybody's going to want it, and oops, they didn't even print as many as they would have normally if this was a well-received set. So now there's even less to go around. Anybody sitting on these 6 months later might be making a lot of money on them. So will that happen? I mean, I would lean towards yes. Realistically and historically, from what I know about distribution numbers and product demand, yes, it will. And even if it just kind of floats in and stays the same at like, an average value of $30 per deck, that's only 25% below MSRP. That's still within a profit margin barely. So I think anybody who picks this up, either reseller or an individual, and is concerned about value, it's not gonna be worth less than you paid for it if you paid a reasonable price for it. I just don't think it can crash any lower over time when it's this small of a print set. Also, the biggest factor is I think people are overreacting. They're just mad for the sake of being mad. And they're just, at the end of the day, they're pissed off because it went up $5. I mean, that's really, at the core of it, that's what it is. The price increased, now they're going to spend more money. Nobody likes price increases. But is the product still good? Are they overreacting and they're just like, $5, $5. This better have, gold-plated cards in it at this point if you're going to justify an increase of, what even is that, 20%? No, not even. 14.3% actually. Ooh. Maybe the singles price did go up $5 and people just don't care because they just don't see the big giant bomb cards in there. Like I said, I don't know. There's no way to calculate an EV with this many new cards. It's just not possible. But it's not crazy to say that everyone's impression could be wrong or they're just whining for the sake of whining. They wanted a reason to be mad, and anything short of like the perfect set down from heaven with amazing deck lists and every staple everybody's ever wanted in the history of Commander, anything short of that and they're going to be pissed. So I think it's a lot of whining and moaning over not much. I mean, I will say it's some weak deck lists. I'm kind of mad too, and I'm concerned about what I'm going to be able to sell these for, and I'm not happy with the pre-order prices right now. That said, I also know the reality of it, and I know that the prices could rebound pretty quick within like 6 months. So if you wanted to, pick up the whole case and play with 2 of them and keep 2 of them sealed as like a little miniature, amateur investment, I think it's a good deal. I mean, like I said, if you pick them up for like 30, 35 instead of 40, boy, they just can't get lower over time. It just can't happen. I mean, it's virtually impossible. And I mean, even the Commander front card, which is the best way to judge the value, honestly, they're pretty good across the board. None of them are astonishingly good, but they're good enough that some people would build some things around it. They're pretty wide open. I mean, hell, one of them's artifacts. I mean, people play artifacts in Commander. The other one's like Miracle's deck arrangement. I mean, that's a riot, and there's really not a whole lot else like that. So for now, I mean, all I'm going to say for advice is I wouldn't boycott it. I wouldn't just write it off. I would just buy it for a slightly lower price and cross your fingers. Do not pay full price for this, though. There's no reason to do that. Unless you really want to support your LGS. I mean, whatever. I hate to say, you could get it cheaper online, so buy it there, but it is true. But if it's like a $5 price difference, just support your store. Just come on. They're going to have a hard time getting rid of this anyway. And they were nice enough to order it and carry it just for you. So let me know your thoughts on it. What would you have added to some of the decks? What's missing? What's the biggest complained about card that you wanted? What do you think of the front cards, and what do you think of the future value? Leave any kind of opinion, your take on it, whatever, in the comment section, because this is completely speculative. This is not just, these are the facts. So of course, opinions and different takes on it are very welcome. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next video.